One of the first cases that I remember involving an Aboriginal who was one of my patients was a older lady who was in her 60s who had done a bone mineral density as part of her physical, and she was osteoporotic. So to treat the osteoporosis, I had initially given her Didrocal, which was covered, and she tried, but she had a lot of stomach upset with it. So in her follow-up visit, I had changed her, I think, to Fosamax. So I had sent her with the prescription, and I usually tend to give a year's worth of the prescription because it takes a while for the medication to actually show its effect. I had gotten a call back from the pharmacy saying, this medication isn't covered, you need to fill out a form. So I had thought that I had simply forgotten that through Ontario Drug Benefit coverage, you needed to put a limited use form into play. So I filled out a limited use form and I faxed it to the pharmacy. And that was the last I heard of it. The patient didn't contact me. There wasn't a follow-up from the pharmacy. I see her again, essentially a year later, ask her about the medication because I'm about to do a follow-up bone mineral density to see, I guess it was more than a year later. And she says to me, oh, I haven't been taking it after I last saw you. And I said, but I gave you the prescription. She said, yes, but it wasn't covered. And I said, but I filled out the limited use form. I could see in the chart that I had sent it. And she says, but I'm not with the Ontario Drug Benefit Program. I'm a status Indian, so the medication is covered through a different branch. I had needed to fill out a completely different form. The pharmacy hadn't told me. I wasn't aware of it. And so this patient who didn't get her medication had simply just assumed, oh yes, another situation where I'm not getting my medication, and had shrugged about it and just assumed that she was just going to get suboptimal health care and accepted it. It was my not having the knowledge of which forms and how to navigate, and my lack of understanding that because she was status Indian, her medication was not covered by the province, but rather by the federal government through Health Canada. So it's a different system to navigate. I wasn't aware of that. And because of that, she didn't get the health care that she deserved. I couldn't understand why she didn't get back to me about why she didn't get the medicine, And she said, well, I took the prescription to the pharmacy. The pharmacy said you hadn't filled out the form and that they were going to contact you. And when I went back and they said they still hadn't gotten permission, I just assumed that it was too much bother. She sort of accepted it. It was sort of like resignation. And I see that sometimes in that age group, as sort of a resignation of, well, what else is new sort of thing. They've been whacked by the system, and so they expect to get whacked by the system. And so when the system fails them, they're not surprised at the failure. It's not apathy, it's more resignation.